Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood personal trainer. Who else but Tommy else? And this episode is one that is particularly near and dear to my heart, as we're going to talk about venting. So, as a personal trainer, I find myself in a similar position as, say, a hairstylist or a bartender, where people feel compelled and comfortable enough to share with me their personal lives, whether it's at home, work, the kids, friends, family, whatever the case may be. A lot of people initially are very apologetic when they start kind of unloading their day, and telling me about everything going on. But I always try to reinforce to them that it's absolutely okay. And in fact, I encourage it because good mental health has an incredible impact on your physical health. And if getting that stuff off of your chest to a third party who's just completely not involved helps you, then let's do it, Um, if I'm with someone long enough and comfortable enough with them, I may give them my feedback as well. And I certainly share my own stories as well, to be able to, show that I can relate to, their situation if I can and why. And in doing so, this helps create a bond between the two of us and a trust between the two of us. We know each other's circumstances, and for me, knowing the stresses of somebody's daily life helps me take that into account when I'm assessing their workout schedule, their diet, all of that stuff, knowing like how busy they are, what their obligations are, the stresses that they're feeling from all of those things, so that I can try to tailor their workout and diet situation in a way that is productive for them, but is not making their life harder than it already is. So, for example, I have a client who is particularly having a hard time at work and has been for a couple of years, but it's exponentially been growing to be more and more difficult as time goes on. She gets off work at 5 o'clock, and pretty much she's, if she's working from home, she gets off at 5 o'clock. By 5:15, she's on the line with me doing an online training session with me. And in the course of that, she's able to basically dump her day on me and just tell me everything that's been going on, everything her boss did, whatever the case may be. But what that does, though, is that it gets it off of her chest. It takes the weight off of her shoulders. And then when she sits down to dinner with her two kids and her husband, she has already gotten that out of her system and can be present and hear about what her kids' days were like, what her husband's day was like, and be in the moment and not be unloading all of that on them. And so within that, there's a great deal of mental health that is uh, attained and sustained by doing this. And if anything, sometimes it's a good way to help get your anxieties out in the course of your workout. You might just push yourself a little bit harder when you are talking about the things that are upsetting you. I am not in any way a licensed therapist. I have been in therapy for the majority of my life. I highly recommend it to anybody. I don't care if your life is just peaches and cream and everything is fantastic. I don't think that there's anything uh, wrong with being in therapy, and I think that you can only benefit from it. I know somebody who, when they got married, he and his wife basically immediately enrolled in couples therapy. They had no couples issues at the time because they hadn't been a married couple long enough for it to manifest. But as a preemptive attack, They got involved in it just so it was a way for them to have a neutral ground to discuss things that could potentially turn into issues for them, but they made a preemptive strike to deal with things and learn how to communicate with each other. I think that's fantastic. Uh, One story I wanted to share was is that years ago I was dating a girl and I was going through a particularly hard time emotionally for a number of different reasons. And somewhere in our conversation, I must have said something to the effect that I didn't think she understood what I was going through. And uh, while she was incredibly supportive, I must have made that comment or something. But what she told me was something that has stuck with me to this day. And now I have put in practice in my own life towards others. And she said to me, she said, you know what? I don't need to understand what you're going through to be there for you. And that really stuck with me. And I understand that because I have heard friends tell me stories. I've heard clients tell me stories, tell me how they were feeling, and I might not be able to relate. You know, we all come from different backgrounds and different stories of our own, but that doesn't mean that I still can't be there for that person. And it's one of the great pleasures I have in doing what I do. So, for the people out there who tell me that they feel bad that they, quote unquote, dump their day on me, please don't, because it's good for you. And honestly, it's good for me. I get perspective on other people's lives. It allows us to form a stronger bond. And within that, we build a strength that will gear us towards getting better results in our ultimate goal. So don't be shy. Feel free to share if that's something that you want to do. And know that it is without judgment. And I am a third party who's got no dog in the fight in anything. If you want my opinion, I will be brutally honest and give it to you. Anybody who's worked with me will tell you I do not hold back. So if you want to tell me about things, that's great. But I will be completely honest with you as far as my opinion. But I do believe that there's a lot of uh, mental health benefits to being able to talk and share with somebody, especially during the process of working out. When you're physically exerting yourself, you're mentally exerting yourself, and then afterwards, when you're done, you've really flushed your system out. So I hope this helps. Take that into consideration. If you're thinking about training with me or with somebody, know that that's one of the little perks that goes along with having a personal trainer. So if you've enjoyed this episode, if this sounds like something that you'd be interested in being a part of and trying out, just mention this episode and you will get 10% off any service that you are interested in. You can check me out on tommyelse.com. All of my social links are available at the very bottom of the page there. There's also a sign up form where you can just kind of send me an email through there and let me know what you're looking for. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can contact me through there, tommyelse.com. So, as always, thank you so much for listening. And I appreciate everybody who's been following the show so far. It has been a very big success, and I'm very happy with everything. And we'll continue to keep putting these out every other week. So, again, thank you so much. And until next time, as always, I, of course, have been who else but Tommy Else.